Big names, big songs, big guests, big prizes.
Well, it's a big show.
The Big Show.
Put your hands together for the one and only
Glenn, Angel, FD, and Sean.
That's what I'm talking about.
1FM 91.3. Good times, greatest hits.
Good morning and welcome to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. It's Glenn, Angel, FD, Sean, and Dr. Geraldine Tan from the therapy room.
Yay!
Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning.
So what is this? I hear you have ADHD.
Oh, wow.
No, she doesn't.
Get to the point, why don't you?
What kind of question is
I
that?
don't know. Sean told me that.
No, today's...
I just received the notes. Just
Well, it is
moments
our
ago.
topic for the
That is
day.
our topic.
Oh.
Yes, it's a topic.
Clearly, Glenn can't focus either. All right, so
It's ADHD.
My camera is not focusing as well.
Your camera-
I'm
Yeah.
orange.
you
Yeah,
are
I know.
What's going on?
too much on the sunbed.
I think so.
Hit it on the side. Hit it
Yeah.
on the side.
Today's topic is ADHD and tips for exams. But before we get into that, Jerry, I want to ask
Yes.
this. We've dealt with this ADHD kids going to normal schools because it is a condition. And I just want to ask so that I have it straight in my mind. Who decides that an ADHD kid can goes to a school? Is there a test they have to take? Do the parents decide? Does a therapist decide? Who decides that this child is able to go into a mainstream school?
You know, all the schools, all the children in Singapore are entitled to go into a mainstream school.
Okay.
So all children go into the mainstream school. It is only when the parent, the educator figures out that there is something wrong with the child or there is a limitation, they're struggling, they're having challenges, that they highlight to the parent to say, hey, maybe you need to get this child checked out or tested because the child is having too much difficulties catching up.
Okay, but some parents before the child goes into school already knows the child has ADHD.
Yep.
Then how?
Yep. So we don't typically test them so young. We can, but we typically don't. So the average age is about 6 to 7 years old. Yeah.
And are there different sort of levels of ADHD?
And what is ADHD for the people who are
That's
hearing
true.
this for the very first time?
That is so true. He is paying attention.
Finally.
And his camera is back.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. I think it's the camera. ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. So the very layperson explanation would be the person or the child that is unable to focus, concentrate, and presents with inattentive or hyperactive behaviors, or both.
You know what? I'm not just saying this to get everyone's attention, but I really, really do think I have ADHD. No, really. But I was never diagnosed.
Do you need help? We know of a therapist.
But can you find out if I really do have ADHD? And I really do mean that because when I was in school, right, I found it so hard to focus, so hard to concentrate.
I think a lot of us did, though. I
Yeah,
did as well.
I
I was
did.
like, I mean, every time it was in the report book, right? Has potential, but lacks focus.
Yes.
How, Jerry?
And
How?
if you read the fine print, it has potential, what lacks focus,
Focus, yeah.
may become a DJ.
Talks a lot.
Talks a lot.
Can't stop
Talks a
talking.
lot.
Yeah.
It is. Okay, there are 3 different types of ADHD. So I've described it, very globally. There is the restless impulsive type. Okay. So those are the types that you would see, they fidget a lot, they run around, they are talking nonstop, they're very disruptive, poor impulse control. Then there's the other type that is inattentive. where they are your dreamers. They space out. You talk to them, and then they seem to drift away, and suddenly they go, huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
right.
The
Okay.
space cadets.
Space Cadet.
Terrible.
And then there's the combined presentation. That means both of the symptoms that we talk about.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Teachers.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, let's continue to talk about this on The Big Show TV. Meantime, here's Craig David. 7 days on The Big Show. 1FM 91.3.
So, Dr. Jerry, I have two questions for you. Firstly, what is the percentage of people who are affected by ADHD? And secondly, what causes ADHD?
Okay, the percentage. So US has a really high number. Okay, and they report up to like 1 in 5 children in the classroom.
Wow,
that
that's
is
really high.
reported.
That's like 20%.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's the number here in Singapore as well.
Is that the number here?
It's lower in Singapore. Yeah, but I don't have. I was trying to look for the numbers, but I don't have the numbers in Singapore. But the last that was kind of discussed, so it's not reported. Last that was kind of discussed is about 1 in 7 or 8 children.
Oh, that's still quite high
Still
then.
high though.
Yeah.
And what causes ADHD?
It is a neurological condition.
Okay.
It can be genetic. Yeah, because sometimes if your parents are, the tendency for the children are. So my poor kids.
So your mother
You're
cannot snap it out of
ADHD.
you.
You have ADHD?
I don't know. But I always self-diagnose, right? Because I will tell you, about the symptoms. I mean, we can share about it later on. But so let's go into some of the symptoms, right? So I have an absolutely messy table. Whoever that comes into my room will always notice my messy table.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So
that it?
children. No. So children that find it very difficult to organize. So they have messy files, messy bags, messy tables, They have a pencil case and they love their pens and colors and everything. But their whole pencil case is just stuffed with full of things.
That was me.
That's
Right?
Yeah. I was
Yeah,
like,
me too.
But you're very neat. You like to
really?
organize. Yeah, you
No,
are
actually,
very
I
neat.
don't
his wife taught him how to be neat.
So there is a cure. Okay.
cure.
So messiness, difficult to organize. What else?
say they would be like losing wallets, losing water
Oh, me.
bottles, coming back.
Sean.
It's me again.
The restlessness. So they would be they can't sit still. They have to get up, they have to do something. If they're seated, their legs are moving. If their legs don't move, their hands are moving, they're tapping something, twirling something, so very fidgety, very restless. So those would does any
No,
so
no. I like how FD is like sitting there trying to be as still as possible.
Yeah.
That's not me.
No, because I always have to have something in my
Yeah, same.
hands. I can't be without anything in my hands.
I'm none of these things. Okay, the next.
Picking all the boxes.
interrupting people like you.
Interrupting.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah. So they can't wait for like someone to finish the sentence. They will finish their sentences.
That's all of us.
Jerry is going like, okay, and I know, which one of you, right, displays this trait every week on the show.
I think that would be all of us.
Yeah, a super talkative, so on the report card, the teacher always would write talkative,
I never had talkative in my report card or my report book. Never.
I was so bad. My teacher made a rubber stamp and just instead of writing, you just put it.
Careless mistakes, often missing out like details. You read, but you don't read the details. Like you miss out certain vital information sometimes. You read it globally. You don't read it in with the fine print.
Right, okay. Is ADHD something that's only noticed in children? I mean, can it appear in adults later on in life?
So diagnosing adults has been really just very, very recent because most of the time it is a childhood disorder, and we would diagnose it for the children when they are in school, where it's most troublesome for them. But more and more adults, because of their readings, because of their awareness, have been coming forward, which is wonderful because they are realizing that, hey, but I am having an issue. So more and more we have.
It's true. Do you want to see me soon, Jerry?
Again.
I love how he weaves it in every week.
I know, right? But more and more adults are coming forward, and you'll be surprised. These are like people in position of power coming to say, I'm so frustrated. I'm just like, wanting to tear my hair out. They might have the messy tables. They might not be losing a lot of like their water bottles and wallets anymore. But they find it difficult to organize and structure other things. So we have university students coming in saying that I feel very lost. I cannot do my work. And you wonder why they can't do, because university work is not as structured as secondary school or JC. Yeah, so they cannot cope with the lack of structure. When they are left to their own devices, they don't have a template.
So they need to work within sort of a skeleton, at least, of what needs to be done.
Yep. And imagine the brain, right, has no filter. So, over the years, we would learn how to have a filter. What are the important things, what are not the important things. But very often, especially for the little ones, they say, but everything is important. Or you look at their notes, they highlight everything. And they say, I don't know which is the important point.
No.
And they have to be taught how to extract the important points.
Okay,
Wow.
okay. So coming back, I want to ask you about the challenges that kids face.
Okay, stand by.
In 3, 2.
Bananarama. I heard a rumor right here on The Big Show, 1FM 91.3. We are live on The Big Show and The Big Show TV with the one and only Dr. Geraldine Tan from the therapy room. We're talking about ADHD this morning and how you can cope with exams as well. That's something that we'll be touching on a little later on.
Yeah. But Dr. Jerry, on The Big Show TV, you were talking about how ADHD, do you call them patients?
Well, they are just people.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say victims. I think victims.
No.
is,
Victims, yeah.
People with ADHD, you were talking about how they have no filter and how they can't really separate what's important and what's not important. So what other kinds of challenges do children or adults living with ADHD face?
So the lack of structure, they find it very hard to sieve through. So the adults, this is very interesting. They find it very hard to sieve through an email. So I had one, actually not just one, a couple of people coming to me saying, I can't read my email. I don't know why I can't read my emails. And you know how some people send long emails?
Yeah.
So please do not send me long emails, but beautifully crafted emails with perfect English, and you have like 5 paragraphs.
Yeah.
Which you have to plow through. Now, people with ADHD look at that whole screen or that whole page of black and white, and they go, it's black and white. I cannot make sense. So there was this these 2 people came and say, I can't read my email. I said, what's going on? And they say, how do I sieve through everything? Remember, they have no filter, right? So then we realized, they only needed the points. So they were leading teams. So what we needed to get them to do was to tell their team members to just send them in point form what is required.
Okay.
Or to summarize a meeting into the more pertinent points. And that worked beautifully for them.
Which pretty much should be every email,
Exactly.
right? I mean, like it's not a storytelling session.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but a lot of
Or
people
a
don't know
thesis.
that.
If I see anything long, I'm too tired to read it. Boom, that's it. I delete it.
More than 3 lines each time.
That's us here, but there are people that take pride in their
Yeah.
email and
Yeah.
write beautiful narratives, in their storytelling.
Yeah.
And it's actually really nice if you read. You have the time and the energy, but when you are, on the go and you are feeling stressed and pressured in the workspace, then your brain has no time to sift through everything.
Okay, so what about labels that children have living with ADHD? What are the labels out there?
Let's see if anybody identifies with this. So, because they're so misunderstood, they're called stupid. You're so stupid. How come you can't do this? Or you're so lazy. Can you buck up or not?
Yeah.
You're not trying hard enough. The last
one I've
week we
heard,
already
yeah.
gone through. Or because you're interrupting so much. You're so rude.
Yeah.
Yeah, or someone will call out, or the teacher, stop daydreaming.
Yeah.
So yeah, labels like these, but they don't recognize the frustration the child is going through.
But how do you separate a child that really is, say, can't be bothered from one that has ADHD? I mean, like when we were growing up, it was all just, oh, you're lazy, you're not smart, you're daydreaming, this
Yeah.
and that. But today it is, you are labeled as having ADHD. Where's the separation?
The child with ADHD, the adult with ADHD actually do try. They do try very hard. And they feel very demoralized each time they are called lazy, each time they are called stupid, because it's not that they are not trying, and they feel very hard done by because I'm so misunderstood. I'm trying, and you call me names.
So would Dennis the Menace have had ADHD, or was he just naughty?
He was a menace.
I think he has ODD. I don't know. I'm
ODD? What's ODD?
Oppositional defiance disorder.
Oh, defiance.
Something new we've learned today.
Yeah, ODD.
ODD.
ODD,
I don't know.
wow.
He just looks so naughty.
Yeah.
I mean, it must take a really creative scriptwriter and producer to create that story. So kudos to them. But he's quite naughty.
Probably
I love
loosely
Dennis the
based on
Menace.
himself.
The one with
yeah.
Walter Matthau.
And
And
with
I
the
also
red
love
and
Problem
black.
Child with John Ritter.
Problem
Yes.
child.
Oh man,
Yes.
Problem Child. Yeah.
I don't
ODD
know.
as
Now
well, I
You
guess.
probably relate to these kids, that's why.
A little bit.
Yeah, that's
a little
right.
bit.
Okay.
All right, we are speaking to Dr. Geraldine Tan from the therapy room right here on The Big Show. Up next, Shawn Mendes with Mercy on 1FM 91.3.
So, Jerry, you have this disruptive child in a class.
Yep.
And you say perhaps your child needs to be checked to see if your child has ADHD. The child goes, and I take it they take some kind of test,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And they are found to have ADHD. Then what? Do they go back into the normal stream school? What? What do you mean?
Yes, they do. Yes,
But
they
then,
do.
are the teachers then trained to handle this?
I think more and more the teachers are now learning about the different learning disorders. Yeah, and the resources are out there. We are very willing to partner them and work with them as to how to help the children, because every child presents with different behavioral manifestation or different needs. Yeah, and different severity also. So that's what the testing helps us. It helps us to distinguish what type of presentation they have, as well as how severe it is.
Okay, so speaking of testing, tomorrow is the 1st of September, which means exams are just around the corner.
Yep.
How do kids with ADHD deal with exams? And would you perhaps have any tips on how parents or kids can,
Yeah.
make it a little bit easier, not as frustrating?
Memorize everything.
Memorize everything.
Okay,
Make it
before
into a
we
story.
even-
Spot questions.
Hiyo, is that how you learn? from
Because
your-
I mean, as an ADHD guy, I mean that's what I did.
He self-diagnosed
He
himself.
self-diagnosed himself.
I think before we even jump into that, right? I think I want to highlight that these children are very intelligent. They have, they can have average intelligence or even above average intelligence. And if, all of you on screen today, diagnose yourself with ADHD, I can say that all of you are very, very intelligent and
Thank
have
you.
found
Oh.
ways to compensate. So, first thing that we do is not no. The next thing after we diagnose the child, we focus on their strengths.
Okay.
We want to find out their strengths because it's very sad to diagnose somebody with ADHD and say, here's your label, you're all bad. And because of this label, you cannot function.
Yeah.
So that's why I think FD is asking, can the child go back to the mainstream?
Yeah,
No,
which is why I didn't
of course the
understand
child-
what FD is asking, because I mean they're not.
They're not autistic.
They're not.
they're
they're
not
actually
autistic.
normal, but
But the reason why I'm asking that is I see them as having a problem. So is there a special system used for them?
So a very severe level of ADHD.
Yeah, where they're
perhaps.
completely disruptive.
so
you
they have to
know,
be in a different institution.
type.
a
of-
different system.
Is there such a thing?
Okay, if they're extremely disruptive and have other comorbidities, perhaps it might not be suitable for them to be in the mainstream education system or the local one. I
But this
must
would be
say that.
ODD, like you mentioned earlier on, right?
Not necessarily. So comorbid can comorbid with many different things, right? So they can comorbid with. So the autistic child can also have ADHD.
Okay.
The dyslexic child can also have ADHD. So it can come together. The different sort of like mood disorders, personality disorders can also have ADHD.
Okay.
Yeah. So it can come in combination, and I guess when it is a bit too severe for them to be in a certain environment, then they are taken away from the environment. Otherwise, we all learn how to cope with the mainstream environment.
Okay.
Yeah. So we don't typically take the ADHD child out of the mainstream education, but some of the because of their personalities, some of the children do flourish in perhaps an international school environment where the
right.
learning styles are different, where the studies is presented differently. They can cope in a different way.
That's interesting.
You were saying that when someone is diagnosed with ADHD, you try to work on their strengths. How does
Yep.
this help a child prepare for exams?
So they have one thing that I love to search: hyper focus.
Hyper.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yes. So I think most of us can identify, like when we are in the zone, when we're doing, so they have that, and sometimes it's multiplied by 10. So when they're in the zone, don't disturb them because everything else gets blocked out, or they get very, very irritable because they need to just complete this task. But it comes in bursts. So it doesn't come like, it's not all the time. So it may be like for maybe for a younger child, 5 minutes, and you just capitalize on that 5 minutes. For an adult, it can come in like for periods of time, days, weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. So when they do projects, they are amazing. So they complete one project after another project, but the daily mundane grind gets to them.
Can ADHD individuals control when they hyper focus? Can they get into that zone on their own? Can they control that?
They can help themselves be aware when it might occur.
Yeah, and take a step back. And take a
Yes.
step back. That's I think one way to control.
But they want to
Because
hyper focus.
I think I do that. I hyper focus quite a bit. I'm serious. I'm not kidding.
No, yeah, he's pretty serious.
But the only way for me to control that is if I take a step.
But it's good to
back.
hyper focus, right?
Not really. I think they've seen me hyper focus
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
on the
I
show.
don't know whether yours is hyper focus or overthinking.
That could be it as well. So for example, gamers. I mean, hyper focusing for
Coders.
gamers and coders and people working with tech or even like as you said, maybe architects, artists, and stuff like that. That would be a plus point for them.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's that, which is why it's not a bad thing. A lot of people think that ADHD is bad, but sometimes it's very functional. So a CEO, a leader that is that has ADHD may be very disorganized. You need to get someone that is organized, that can kind of pick up the pieces and structure things for you, but can be very creative. And, when on a project, really focusing on that project and just take the entire team to greater heights. So it's really fun.
It's interesting that you said leaders that have ADHD. So I just looked it up. So people like Bill Gates, Walt Disney, Richard Branson,
My Donald Trump, don't forget.
IKEA founder as well.
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Donald Trump. Don't
No, Donald Trump doesn't
No,
have
he
ADHD.
doesn't.
We can talk a
He
little
just
bit
has
about this.
small
I think it's
hands.
quite interesting. Okay.
Point 3 traffic.
Let's take a look at it. You've got the usual delays across the expressways. That's pretty normal for this time of the day. Nothing should surprise you there. One or two areas that you're going to have to look out for this morning. The MCE towards the AYE. We have a vehicle broken down at the MCE AYE entrance. That's going to slow you down a wee bit. BKE towards the PIE. A vehicle broken down after Mandai Road exit. Avoid lane 2. And on the BKE towards the PIE, there's been an accident after Mandai Road exit, so that's causing a bit of congestion to the SLE. Lower Delta Road, an accident just before you reach Jalan Bukit Merah. That's causing one or two delays. Stay within the speed limit, please. Have everyone buckled up. Be safe as you drive today.
Good morning. Today we're touching on attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD. We are speaking to Dr. Geraldine Tan from the therapy room. Good morning, Jerry, once again.
Morning.
Good morning. And Dr. Jerry, earlier you were talking about how what's it called? Hyper-focusing? Hyper-focus from ADHD individuals can be a good thing. And I've just looked up some leaders, world leaders that have ADHD. People like Bill Gates, Walt Disney, Richard Branson, the IKEA founder and chairman, and more recently from the Olympics, Simone Biles, Michael Phelps. From the entertainment industry, people like Justin Timberlake, will.i.am, Adam Levine, Howie Mandel, as well as Jim Carrey.
And don't forget Donald Trump.
No, I don't think Donald Trump has ADHD.
He only
He
has
has
small
no focus.
hands.
Yeah, he has no focus.
Hey.
But you're saying like all these world leaders and famous people have learned to take their what we may see as a weakness and turn it into a positive enhancement of their lives, and things that they can turn into something great.
Yep. So they have learned how to use ADHD to their advantage. And these people are very intelligent. They can be geniuses. A lot of them are very creative, and the ADHD helps them to just really fantasize and think about they really bring that code, the sky is the limit. They just really, you bring that notion out.
But you see, I think all these people kind of struck it out on their own at some point, because if you are working in an organization and you have ADHD, you might not go down very well, let's say, with your bosses, for example. So you're talking about that creative streak and all that. The only way for them to do their own thing is if they're
Go
on
down
their own
path, right? Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if not, I think it's very hard for them to survive in an
To work for
organization that perhaps doesn't understand where they're coming from.
Yeah. I know someone who has a child with ADHD, and my question is, I want to go back. This kid is 11, about 11. How does a parent help that child prep for the exams in school? Because I know that's always been an issue for them.
Okay, so now it's almost the examination. So I'm targeting now, right at this point in time, right? So one of the things that a teen actually told me is, can I have some audio space? And I was like, what in the world is audio space? Can they stop nagging me or not?
So some quiet time.
Yeah.
No. They don't really need quiet.
You don't want to be
But
nagged at.
because it just drones on and on and on, and it cuts through everything. Every time they are getting into the zone, the parents nag them.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
And
Okay.
honestly, as parents, we don't know when they're getting into the zone and when they are studying or when they need the break.
Yep.
And the teens always say, "My parents have a knack of coming in when I'm taking a break and when I'm on my phone." But I already studied and I need to take a break.
Right.
So I don't know. I think it's something with teens and parents. And I laughed when, my son turned teen this year and became a teen this year, because apparently I was doing that all the time also.
I think parents just need to chill out and just leave their kids alone. For someone who doesn't have kids, I mean, if
It's
I had
easy for
kids,
you to say,
this is
yeah.
what I'll do.
No.
I'm like, okay, fine, just do your best and study hard. If not, you won't be able to find a good job in future.
What's the masculine term
And if
for
it-
tiger mom? Is there such a thing?
I have no
That's
idea.
what Glenn will
Very
be.
good
That's what Glenn will
question.
be. But like the overachiever, and you always have to study, and you
You
gotta
think-
do like everything.
you think I'll be like that?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely,
absolutely.
But I'm saying that I'm going to be chilled out.
No, not happening.
Okay.
No.
Never.
Yeah.
I don't know what is it called, but I'm saying it's no point nagging instead. And interestingly, the kids, it's not that they don't want the parents there. They just want the parents to do things differently. It could be like just cooking for them. It could be like accompanying them, chatting with them. So ask your children what they need from you during this period of time.
Positive
Yes.
reinforcement, probably.
Well, what kind of reinforcement are you thinking of, FD?
Okay, hold that
okay,
thought.
we'll come back.
Walking in Memphis is next. Mark Cohn on The Big Show, 1FM 91.3.
When I say, Jerry, as I mentioned just now, positive reinforcement, I'm talking about things like, hey, it's really good to see you getting down to your books. You're doing really well. That kind of thing, as opposed to, why aren't you on your books?
But remember, the parents keep finding them not studying. So that's where the stress is. So I always see this dichotomy, right? Like the kids coming in and say, can you get my parents off my back? I am studying. The parents saying, but I don't see them studying.
But I guess it shows in the results, right? I mean, if a child comes back with lackluster results, then the parents are going to be always on their case. But if the child is really doing well or doing as well as they can, then the parents kind of take a step back and go, okay, the kid is doing something right.
But I tend to disagree with that, Angel, because you come back with lackluster results. All your child can do is the best your child can do.
I guess so, but
You know what I'm trying to say?
But perhaps the parents know that they're capable of so much more.
Yeah, the problem is the parents want them to be capable of so much more, and their excuse
Whether
is,
they are.
I know you can do more.
I don't know. Dr. Jerry, the therapist in the room?
Oh, I struggled with that for a long time. And, in the beginning of my career, yes, I went with the results. Then I realized, but if we are telling our children that they are not their results, why are we still emphasizing on the results? Because if a child is truly having difficulties, then the results will show that they are having difficulties and not because they did not study.
Yes.
But the parents tend to then only focus, oh, see, I told you to study and you didn't study. And the child is like, feeling so vindicated, right? Like I did study, I was taking a break and you blame me for it, but I scored what I scored. But I really put in effort. So if you're thinking that, and this is what they do because they're very impulsive, if you think that I don't put in effort, sure, I won't put in effort the next time. And they kind of like they would take revenge. Hi, Julian. We want to ask whether you
I-
have ADHD or not.
What was the question again?
Do you have ADHD? Because we've established that quite a number of us here
I
have
don't.
ADHD.
Yeah.
I have ADHD, I
I think
think.
all the boys have.
I don't know. It depends. What's some of the symptoms, or you know?
Hey, you can go back and watch the video.
Are you disorganized? Do you always lose things? Can you not sit still? Do you always interrupt people? Are you super talkative? And do you make careless mistakes?
No, I
Oh,
don't.
yeah, you don't have ADHD.
He's normal.
You're
I'm
normal.
I'm very organized. I talk a lot. I think you know. Just I don't.
You don't lose
I don't
things.
know. I don't know. Jerry, you gotta tell me. I
Please
don't know.
not diagnosed. Okay, for everyone out there, right? Angels just gave a whole list of symptoms, but do not diagnose yourself based on that. Disclaimer.
Let me be your assistant, Jerry. I help you diagnose people. How about that?
We have the DSM that we use to diagnose. So I know every time Angel will ask me what is DSM, Diagnostic and Statistical Manual.
What makes you think I was going to ask you?
Because you always ask me.
Fine, I'll write it down.
I agree. Angel had that look in her eyes.
did
I'm going
not.
to ask. What is the
DSM.
DSM, yes. Okay.
All right. Okay. Any final words, Jerry?
Yes. Since okay. Let's go with the whiskey. I almost dropped my phone.
See, Jerry and myself are the same, no?
That's one
A
of the
bit.
symptoms. That's one of the
No, that's clumsy. That's being clumsy. Okay. Just four more things is ensuring the children have enough hydration, healthy meals. So the parents can definitely do that. Remember that junk food lowers your IQ.
Aha.
Oh my God, I love junk food.
Yeah, man.
High fat, high sugar, processed food. If you want your child to, be it's not.
We
not
hear
for the
this
short
every day,
term.
though. We hear this every day. Processed food, high sugar, high
Yeah.
fat.
Come on, don't
Yeah,
let
yeah,
me be
but
the only one admitting
research
that I
has
like
been
junk
done.
food. Come on, FB,
I
help me
love
out
junk-
here.
I'm a junk food
I
king.
love
There you
junk
go,
food. I
thanks.
just don't eat a lot of it. There you go.
Okay, brain stimulation requires also your body to be activated, a balance. Okay, so don't just sit there and study, and don't just think that relaxation is playing games and watching Netflix. Get your body moving. So your body also needs that activity level. Okay, late nights is actually a no-no, but a lot of kids love to study dead into the night, sleep for 2 hours, and then hop into the exam hall. Can you please not do that? Okay, and this is for the ADHD children. Learn, practice, and do. So you learn, practice, and do by breaking down your tasks, pacing yourself with a lot of movement breaks, and taking your breaks. Yeah, so you pace yourself by taking a lot of movement breaks.
Wow, there's so
sounds-
much.
but
So
no,
much
but
to
it-
remember.
It sounds like something we should all be doing.
If I had a kid, I would send my kid to you, Jerry.
He just wants to
Okay.
get into your office. That's
Yes,
all it
I
is.
know.
He needs to have a child to get into your office. It's like,
Yes. Maybe when you have a child,
there
you
you
can come
go. Which means never.
in. Okay, we
Jerry,
were
is
saying-
there a discount? Is there a discount? Because I would love my daughter to do swim. I'm
See?
just gonna chuck her there. I'm just gonna chuck her
You
there.
don't need
Dump
to
her there.
ask. Just bring your kid here. We'll be more than happy to have her
Oh.
and take her off. I think we'll be playing with her more and just letting you, have a
Have your
good time
time.
with your wife.
She's gonna drive you up the wall. Jerry.
Oh,
she's,
no.
she's gonna drive you up the wall.
We love kids here, so bring them here.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's not true.
Jerry's
Okay,
Jerry's met the worst of the worst already,
Yeah,
I'm
there
sure.
you go. Last words, Jerry.
Last words. Then I'll pass it over to Julian. So we were saying that Michael Phelps has ADHD,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And he said there will be obstacles, there will be doubters, there will be mistakes, but with hard work, there are no limits. So for everyone that is struggling out there, bear this in mind. There is no limits.
So that was his secret, Michael Phelps, multiple Olympic gold medalist. You need to have ADHD.
Focus.
I don't think you can buy
No,
ADHD
but-
off the shelf.
No, but then all the other, gold medalists and all that who are not multiple winners,
Yeah.
they all don't have
No, but
ADHD.
could it have been that Michael Phelps had ADHD and every time he hit that pool, he was in his zone? That's
Yeah.
what it was.
Are you seriously starting a conversation with me about this? Thank you very much, Jerry, for joining us
I'll see
today.
you next week. Bye-bye.
See you, Jerry.
All right, Julian, welcome back.
Thank you. Sorry I couldn't make it last week. I had work, man. It was crazy,
That's
man.
okay.
No worries.
It's
That's
okay.
all
It
right.
was crazy.
I like how you don't consider us work. Fantastic.
That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So you were filming
is-
something last week, right?
Yeah, I was filming something.
Are we going to get to watch it on the SG Kamat
Yes.
website?
Yes, you will. You can either watch it on SG Kamat website, you can watch it on YouTube, our YouTube channel, SG Kamat's YouTube channel. But because there's an embargo, we can only release the video sometime on September 8th at 8 p.m.
Oh,
your
okay.
your app or your website was down for a couple of days, wasn't it?
Yes, website was down a couple of days. There
Yeah.
was some server issues, so everyone got it, including the Business Times and all that
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
yeah.
Subsidiaries, we all got it.
Only we were
thankfully-
unaffected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
No, we were.
We were.
one standby traffic, then we go back live on air.
1FM 91.3 traffic.
So we've got the usual delays across the expressways with one or two areas that you're really going to have to look out for. Here we go. PIE towards Tuas, an accident before Engneo Avenue. TPE towards the SLE, an accident after Punggol Road exit, avoid lane 1. AYE towards Tuas, a vehicle broken down before Jurong Town Hall exit. What else do we have for you this morning? Lower Delta Road, there's been an accident near the junction of Jalan Bukit Merah. Please stay within the speed limit. Have everyone buckled up. Be safe as you drive today.
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Dr. Geraldine Tan has left the building.
Dun, dun, dun.
Well,
And
not-
somebody
not the
else has
building.
entered the building.
That's right. Julian Coe, editor of SG Kamat, back after a 1-week break. Good morning, Julian.
guys.
Good morning, Julian.
Julian, before we get into your topic, I need to clear this.
Yes.
I saw an ad in today's paper,
Yeah.
and I may be wrong, but you, the car man, you tell me.
This is the Straits Times, right?
Yeah. Electric cars emit 50% less CO2 than petrol vehicles.
He's like, what's your point?
Do electric cars actually emit CO2?
Well, that is a good question.
Yeah.
In theory,
This is from the backside of the driver.
yeah.
There you go.
There
There
isn't.
you go.
There isn't in theory. But
Just
then
thinking.
again, by saying that it emits 50% less, it's not wrong, right?
Why?
Because it's still less anyway. It's not. They're not making a sweeping statement. They're not making a wrong statement by saying it. They're not saying that it emits more. It emits less, which is true.
Yeah,
But it emits
FD was
none.
hoping 90% less.
No, I'm saying
I
CO2.
get what Julian is saying. They're not saying a sweeping statement like it emits 99% less. They're
Yeah.
making a safe statement that says it emits 50% less. So if anyone questions it, they can't
No,
say
but
they didn't
my
say
question is, can an electric vehicle emit
Emits
CO2?
CO2, yeah.
Yes,
It's
yes,
electric.
okay. Electric cars, there are three types of electric cars. There's plug-in hybrid, there's full hybrid, and of course, we all know there's hybrid
But they're
cars.
talking
hybrid
electric
is also
vehicles.
electric
That's
And
what
they're
it's-
all considered electric cars, even a hybrid?
Yes, these are all considered electric cars. These are all
okay.
electrified cars.
Okay,
So
okay.
it has to be very specific. Is it battery electric? Is it petrol electric? Is it plug-in hybrid?
Okay.
So yeah, so
But,
that
yeah.
Okay, then I understand the statement. Okay.
Okay, all right. I get
Thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah, no, I wanted to know
Yeah.
because I was wondering. Yeah.
Okay, so today's topic, potholes and how do they damage your car? Do we have that many potholes in Singapore?
I think there was a time back, was it 6 months ago, when it was really just raining nonstop every single day? There were potholes everywhere. You know, the sustained rain just caused a lot of wear and tear on the tarmacs and all that kind of stuff. And there were a lot of people calling in to complain. And that was the time, guys. You remember that was the time I had a lot of problem with my daughter's bedroom because water was
Yes, I
seeping in,
remember.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was the time. That was the time. So I'm just keeping my fingers crossed because now it's raining cats and dogs. I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that water is not going to come in again.
Did
to
you
my
not get that
daughter's
problem
bedroom.
solved?
We got that problem solved. Town council came in and repatched the whole block, including the block opposite mine.
Okay.
So I'm hoping things are solved.
Well, this is a good time because it's meant to rain heavily for the next 2 months. So.
This is not a good time for people who are driving small cars that are very low to the ground.
Yeah.
Your
Yes.
Copens, your Lotus Elises,
Esprits.
your Mini Coopers, what else?
Even your supercars,
Yeah,
right? I can't-
supercars,
can't
your
be
Lambos,
good-
your
yeah.
Ferraris. Woohoo!
Yeah, those
Baby.
are going to be a bit of a problem. But of course, there are several things you need to take note of when you drive. Obviously, in this crazy weather, don't drive at breakneck speeds. I mean, you got to be logical. I mean, yes, even if your car can take it, always be safe because it doesn't matter whether you're 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, 8-wheel drive. Like I said before, when you aquaplane,
You
are
lose control.
Literally, you will still lose control. It doesn't matter how many wheels are driving the car or powering the car, you will still lose control when you aquaplane. And that will happen because, especially now with all the flooded areas,
Yes.
water is rising a little bit on the road. You got to be a little bit more careful. And when you go at high speeds, that's when you're going to spin out.
Yeah. Did you
So,
see Sergio
no.
Perez at the Spa circuit over the weekend?
Ooh.
But Adrian, when you hit these potholes,
Adrian.
Julian, I tell you what, when we come back, I've got a question for Julian about these potholes, and I want to see if I'm right.
All right. I think we need to get FD some ginkgo
Yeah,
supplements.
boy, the names are going out the window.
Got to call my friends at Holistic Way.
Thank you.
Anyway, here's Madonna with Like a Prayer on The Big Show, 1FM 91.3.
Sorry about that, Julian.
See, call him Adrian again.
I called him Julian.
Okay, just testing.
These potholes that we're talking about today, there's got when you hit these things, and if you hit them repeatedly, there's got to be an immense amount of chassis damage, right?
Yes, definitely. There's going to be some body or chassis damages, but okay. So here's the truth, right? It's not so easy to damage your chassis. Your chassis is made out of solid materials, right? You got to really do it consistently. You have to be consistently going over a series of potholes again and again and again on a daily basis for your chassis to go wonk.
Yeah.
So it's not that easy.
What will damage is the body kit.
You're speaking about all these low cars.
It's true.
Yes, that
is true.
that will go. The other one that will go will definitely be your rims as well, your tires, your rims. That
Your
will definitely go.
exhaust?
Yes, but okay, back to the chassis. Not so easy to actually get that damage, but there is still that possibility, as depending on how deep the pothole really is, how far apart it really is. So when you go in, you can really feel that tong. When you hear that sound, it might not actually be the chassis. It might still be the wheels first. But like I said, you got to go through like a series of potholes on a daily basis. Like, around your house, when you turn out on the way to work, you're so unlucky that those are just a series of potholes that you got to go through every
So you
single
should
day.
change your route, right? I mean, if that's like your only...
Hey, but
like-
sometimes these potholes get bigger as the
Yeah, of
days
course, because they're
as the
getting
days go
worn.
by.
They're
You know
getting
what I mean? So
worn,
you know
yeah.
you're really in trouble if you hit the pothole and you can't get out of it.
Yeah. No, but there's more to it than that. I mean, there are shock absorbers that are going to get affected. Even your steering can get affected.
Of course, definitely. All these, think of your car as a machine that's all intertwined with all the screws and the bolts and the nuts. They are all connected. So, for instance, when you go through really quickly, so my car is on coilovers. I put coilovers because the standard suspension is actually stiffer than coilovers. So people who drive my car or my model rather, will have to change the coilovers to lessen the stiffness a bit. But Regular
Right.
cars, when you change to coilovers, it becomes a lot stiffer.
Right. So you feel
Now, when you
everything.
do that,
actually.
yeah, you feel every single thing on the road, every single thing. Now that's going to be a bit painful. Yes, it can damage your shock absorbers. It can, and when it sends vibrations right through from your suspension, right through, you will get it through your steering as well. Especially say you're making a turn and you decide to go at a slightly higher speed and you go through that pothole. That's when your steering wheel is going to get. But all these, to me, they are still they're a bit of a problem, but I don't think it's as bad as getting your exhaust and getting all your undercarriage wrecked.
Great,
To me,
yeah.
that is a bit more of a headache. Your exhaust, I mean, if it sounds loose, if you feel like your engine is going fine, but you sort of lose power, you feel like you're losing power, or even your fuel consumption seems to be dropping more than usual, you got to go check. There could be a
Yeah.
leak somewhere.
That's the worst thing when you have a
yeah.
leak, right? You hit a bump, and then when you're parking your car, you see this trail.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So I'm sure there
Yes.
are some situations where people can't avoid potholes. Like, for example, their way to work is the only way to work, and these are the only potholes they have to go over. What should someone do if you cannot avoid these situations?
Brace
Get a
yourself,
different
man.
job.
Put a
Brace
pillow
yourself
under
for
you.
impact. I would just say just brace yourself for impact, because sometimes it's inevitable, because when you're driving quick, you're driving fast, and there are people behind you and you know that they are pretty close as well, and if it's raining and the view out isn't really that clear, you're not going to jam brake because of a pothole. You're going to cause an accident behind. So, it's like the same thing that we talked about. If you see an animal on the road, what are you going to do, right? Are you going to jam brake and cause an accident behind? Sometimes it's just, you don't exactly have a choice. I will just say, ease up on the accelerator. Just ease up on the accelerator. Just go through with it. But of course,
Okay.
this is what I'm talking about. 100 kilometers per hour, 90, 100 kilometers per hour sort of speed. But if you're going on minor roads and you're like 50, 60, I would say just do intermittent braking so that the guy behind knows that you're
Going to
the
stop.
brake lights are just flashing, right?
Yeah,
He'll just
yeah.
go to slow down. So
Yeah.
he knows that something is wrong. You still have that sort of time and braking distance if you're going at 50, 60, but at 90, 100, no way. You just have to brace yourself for impact. Once you go over, please call LTA to rectify the situation. I think you can submit
Oh, really? Okay.
through an app.
Yes.
Okay.
If I'm
I
right,
used to have
it's
the app.
called mytransport.sg
Yeah.
or One
Oh, okay.
Service application.
One service,
I actually submitted the leak, my house, my room, via the app, actually,
Oh.
via One Service, and they actually called me back. It was
Okay.
actually very cool because they were the ones who asked me, or rather, HDB was the ones who asked me to download this app just so that I can submit all the wrongdoings, or I don't know, whatever rectification that I had to do. Yeah.
Okay. But also another thing, I mean, before you hit a speed bump, obviously you want to slow down if no one's around you, behind you, right?
Yes. It's exactly the same. Think of it as
An animal.
you want to just lessen the damage on your car, and to me, more importantly, you want to at least save some money on your pocket as well. Because if you just go right through and you just bump on things and you just don't take care of your car, you don't baby your car, things are going to go wrong, and you really don't want that to happen. It's so painful, man.
It is.
It's so painful.
Yeah.
I just polished my car. I just waxed my car on Saturday night.
Oh Lord.
And Sunday it started
Started
raining,
raining.
and I really felt the pain, man. I was just,
I wanted to wash my car yesterday and give it a good vacuum and everything, and then it poured.
Yeah.
It was so
Yeah.
heavy. I'm planning to do it today
Okay.
because there's so much dog fur, and it was a
Yeah.
golfing
It
weekend.
looks like it's going to
and-
rain all day, though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Damn
yeah,
it.
it seems that way. It
Yeah.
seems that way. So I don't know, but okay, to me is, I tell myself, whether I'm clean or dirty, or whether I'm feeling clean or I'm dirty, I'll still have to take a shower, right? I'll still have to shower regardless. So
you
I'm
go.
just telling myself, I'm just showering my car. My car
Yeah.
needs a shower. I'm just
Yeah.
giving it a good scrub, taking care of her so
Yes.
that, she looks good regardless. So
Yeah, I
that's fine.
completely relate to that.
Yeah, yeah.
Good job. I need to do it today as well. I'm someone, right, who cannot be in a dirty car. All my life, I cannot
Yes.
be in a dirty car.
Likewise.
And the way-
I have a feather duster in my car, and I'm dusting my dashboard every day.
Yeah,
my
because-
steering wheels, because I don't like dust accumulating.
And new cars, the way dashboards and everything are designed, they've all got a gloss finish.
Yeah, you
so
see
you
everything.
see every speck of
Yeah.
dust in your car. It's
Yeah.
horrible.
You know what I really cannot stand? dust on my touchscreen display.
Yeah.
Well, that just man.
So that's why you've got to have a duster. So you know.
Yeah, I've got
Or a
that,
little
that
chamois.
cloth.
Yeah,
I've got
cloth.
a small little cloth. I just like
the dust cloths, yeah.
Yep, and I just give it a nice wipe.
Right.
But it's you know how you keep your house clean because you're house proud, right? It's the same for the car.
Yeah,
You got to be car proud. You got to make it clean because. Especially now with COVID, with the situation about kids behind and all that,
Of
you want
course,
them
yeah.
to be in a hygienic place.
Yeah.
And that's the least you can do.
Right. We're not on air yet, right? We're on Facebook.
We're going to
Facebook,
on
yeah,
air
because
now.
I mean,
We're going on air now.
Sean used to tell me before, you know, Rod Montero, my ex.
Yeah.
He used to have cockroaches in his car.
Yeah, horrible. He has a 3-week-old sock, very stiff one.
Oh,
Okay. Now we're going back on air.
Okay, now
Okay. Westlife, Seasons in the Sun, right here on The Big Show, 1FM 91.3. We have with us the editor of SG Karma, Julian Ko. Good morning, Julian.
Good morning.
Julian
The
is still
things we
laughing
share,
from what you
the
told
things
him.
we share
yeah.
on The Big Show TV, which we, will never mention
But,
on air.
It's true.
But you know that people can watch this forever and ever, right?
don't tell them.
Don't tell them.
So don't tell them to share the
Yeah.
video and
Just-
watch
yeah.
it.
But sometimes I tell people the incentive to watching us on the Big Show TV
You get
is
all the
the
little
things that we say
secrets.
sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a comment on our Facebook page from Albert. He says the next topic should be rules at pedestrian crossings for pedestrians, cyclists, and motorists. Julian doesn't work for SG Pedestrian. He works for SG Karma.
But don't get me started on pedestrian crossing. Using their phones as they cross.
Why?
Don't
It's
get me
horrible,
started.
right? They just assume.
Zebra crossing, right? They think that you're going to. They think yes. I mean,
They have the
yes,
right of
you
way.
might have the right. You might just have the right of way. But I mean, come on,
You
man.
should
I
make
mean,
eye contact with the driver, right?
Yes.
Just to,
Yeah.
Yes. That's why
Or
I
at
always
least just give a wave,
Right.
Just
Yes.
looking at your phone, you're crossing, you're taking your own sweet time.
yeah.
But I
Well,
always
that
say
just-
that the worst pedestrians are the ones that don't drive. They don't know how to. They like when you're trying to turn out onto a road, they cross in front of you. Or they
Yes.
don't check a blind spot. And these are people that don't drive
And these
because
people
they don't know.
These people have bad parents. If they had good parents, their parents would have taught them all these
Cross
things when
behind,
they were
right?
growing up.
Yeah, that is true.
I
Here's
just
the
get
thing.
slapped. If I don't observe, traffic and all that when I was a kid. That's how I was taught, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
almost like
Yeah.
what? Bam! Why didn't
Yep.
you look, to your right,
Smack
before
you over
crossing?
the head, yes.
Do you want to die or what? That kind of
But
thing.
here's the thing. Here's the thing that I'm starting to suspect. I think there are some drivers out there who are just as hopeless with all these regulations
It's
because.
true.
Because okay, so I was at the mall the other day. I was doing a reverse park, obviously, right? And there was a family. Then the dad, who was going to his car. So obviously, he must be the driver, right?
Okay.
And he knows that my reverse lights out.
Oh no!
Oh,
He
no.
walks behind my
Right.
Oh no!
and I already started moving.
Yeah.
So obviously I was reversing slowly, thankfully, and I just had to jam brake.
Yeah.
And he still continues to walk. And I'm just wondering, you can't be that. You
What an
can't be that
idiot.
funny,
No,
Was it a
He's
young?
an idiot.
Was it a young family?
Yeah, no,
my
it was
goodness.
an old
So
family. It was an old. I mean, a middle-aged family. The kids are all grown up.
Okay.
Oh.
He's
You
just
know what I
tired of
mean?
living, lah. Yeah, I think he's just
tired
really
of
fed
life.
up, right?
Trying
It's
to
like,
get rid
okay,
of the
tired of
family.
please reverse and bump into them so that I can enjoy myself.
Collect insurance.
He was trying to get rid of the family.
It is insane. This is something that I always tell my kids: when you see the white light coming up,
yeah.
please just stay away. Just steer clear.
Yeah.
I say always walk in front of the car, not behind the car.
Yeah.
So these are things that people need to know. They need to know. Sometimes when I reverse, sometimes not only, but I've seen people reversing into things because they're just not paying attention, and that happens, right? When you're driving something,
Yeah.
you're thinking about a million things, and this kind of things happen. And when it happens, it'll be too late.
Yeah.
There are certain things that you can claim, and there are certain things you can't claim. So, for instance, if you go over a pothole, it's actually not claimable if you actually have damage to your car.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you can't claim. You can't. Insurance
You can't
doesn't
blame
cover
the
that.
person that put the pothole there.
I don't know. This is like I don't even know if this will be considered an act of God, or this is just considered,
Shoddy
bad
work.
Yeah, bad
Yeah.
work, bad workmanship or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
thank you for that, Julian.
Thank you so much for joining us, Julian. We missed you last week, but we're so glad you're back this week.
Thank you so much for having me. This is not work, but this is always fun.
Fantastic.
We're glad
fantastic.
you always have fun with us.
Yes. Thank you
All
so
right.
much, man.
All
Thank
right,
you.
See you next week,
Stay
Julian.
safe, guys.
Bye bye,
care.
Julian.
Ciao. See you.
Headline news and sports up next on The Big Show.
Welcome back.
Oh, we could have
Alright.
continued talking to him, but yeah.
It's all right.
All righty.
On the dot, man. It's
Yeah.
9 a.m. Wait, hold on. It's 8:59.
8:59 and 11
Almost
seconds.
9
Yeah.
Yeah.
We only check out at 9 a.m. How about that?
Okay. Okay.
Okay, it's 9 a.m.
What?
Yeah.
Not yet.
According to
Huh?
our watch.
No, it's 40 seconds left.
Oh, 40 seconds. Okay, that's
Yeah.
too long. I need
Too
to go
long?
to the toilet.
All right,
That's why
bye.
all of us.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Share the video. Bye bye.